What is happening to Aerodrome Finance? This video will be an update on Aero as well as a prediction on what's going to happen to Aerodrome in the short term and in the long term. So taking a look at the chart right now, we see that we actually bounced back from that low of about 87 cents all the way up to 130. But since then, we've actually retraced back into that $1.08 area. And this is kind of that yellow support zone that I highlighted in my last video. I believe that this support zone is holding up very strong right now, but I definitely think that if we do see a break in this support zone, we can definitely head lower. And I think the lower level that we could potentially head is going to be this red zone right here. So I do believe if we get a break of this yellow zone, we are definitely heading back to this red zone, which is a very strong support area for Aerodrome. And that support area is from about 75 cents all the way to about 83, 85 cents. Of course, we did touch this when we had that massive crash. We bounced back, and now I believe that we could very well be touching that again. So don't be surprised, guys, if we do see Aerodrome trend lower for the next couple of days. This is just a short-term technical analysis that I'm doing for you guys, but in the long term, I'm still very confident on Aerodrome, but we definitely will see more short-term volatility, especially looking at the price of Bitcoin right now. So looking at the Bitcoin chart, I always like to look at Bitcoin in every single one of my videos because at the end of the day, all of your altcoins are kind of dependent on what Bitcoin does in both the short term and the long term. So just looking at kind of the short term of Bitcoin, we do see that this trend line, this light blue trend line that I've drawn right here from the previous last bull cycle's all-time high all the way to now, we see this trend line. We are retesting this line, and in fact, if we do break this line, then I believe we will actually head into this yellow support zone right here and potentially touch this moving average, this 200-day EMA. So once again, for Bitcoin, if we do break this blue trend line, I believe we are heading down into this yellow support area, which is a very strong support area for Bitcoin. And I believe we'll also touch this green 200 EMA, so the exponential moving average for the 200-day. I believe that once we touch that, we're going to bounce very, very hard, and we could potentially see the next move up for Bitcoin. And once that happens, then we're going to see altcoin season. That is just my opinion. But right now, we are definitely experiencing volatility, right? Don't be surprised if Bitcoin right now trends much lower. As you can see, we are definitely trending lower currently. We still haven't broken out of this pattern yet. I was looking for Bitcoin to break out of this trend, but as you can see, it's actually gone down. So that means that we rejected the uptrend and we're actually still in a bearish trend. And what does that mean for all of your altcoins, including Aerodrome, right? That means that there is going to be more volatility in the coming days. I think that this is going to be one of the most important periods for you as an investor, because you have to stay diligent and you have to stay mentally strong during this period of time. This is a make it or break it time. The reason some of your altcoins are going down is not necessarily due to the fundamentals of that particular coin changing, right? In fact, something like Aerodrome, the fundamentals have not changed at all, right? This is still the same exact coin that it was when it was at $2.35, right? This coin has not changed. The only thing that has changed is Bitcoin and also macroeconomic factors. And in this video, I'll touch a little bit on those macroeconomic factors and predict when that altcoin season will begin and when things like Aerodrome will actually start seeing another uptrend once again. In my personal opinion, you can have the best altcoin out there, but if you don't understand Bitcoin and also macroeconomics, then you're not going to be successful in the bull run. So this video, I'll touch on that. And the first topic is Bitcoin dominance. I've touched on this many videos before, but today I broke this down even further, even more detailed. And as you can see, this blue line is kind of that trend line that Bitcoin dominance hits whenever it hits that all-time high. So whenever Bitcoin dominance hits that all-time high, it usually basically touches this blue trend line. And then whenever you see Bitcoin dominance fall from its all-time high all the way down, that's when alt season begins, right? So right here, this period was alt season. This period was alt season, and then right now we still haven't seen that massive drop in Bitcoin dominance yet, so that means alt season has not begun yet. And I've actually gone and broken this chart down even further into the period of time between Bitcoin dominance all-time highs. So you can see between the 2017 Bitcoin dominance all-time high and the 2020 Bitcoin dominance all-time high, it was 45 months, right? So it took 45 months for alt season to kick in. And right here, I'm predicting that, let's say it's around 45 months, right? Where will that land us? Well, that will actually land us right around October 7th, right? Right around October is basically when that next Bitcoin all-time high will hit, and that's when altcoin season will actually start kicking in. That is based on this 45-month prediction, which of course you can't really always use historical analysis to predict the future, but this is the best data that we have, so that's the data that I'm going to go with right now. But let's just say it's 45 months, right? That would put us at around October, and that would also put us directly basically at this blue trend line, as well as basically in this green square right here, which is kind of where I predict the Bitcoin dominance all-time high will eventually land. So based on this data, we assume that the altcoin season will kick in somewhere around October, November, maybe December, because sometimes there is a little bit of a delay. The next piece of data I want to talk about is going to be global liquidity versus Bitcoin. Now, of course, these are some concepts that a lot of you might not understand, so I'm going to try to break it down as simply as possible. So in simple terms, global liquidity is basically the amount of money being moved around in financial markets, and global liquidity also follows a cycle. So this website explains kind of that cycle of global liquidity, and as you can see right here, we have a very cyclical pattern that's showing up. And right now you can see the beginning of 2024, we do see that global liquidity is very, very low. But what happens when global liquidity is very high, right? When global liquidity is very high, what you get is you get massive spikes in a lot of your assets, right? In stocks, in bonds, and also in cryptocurrency. So you can see right here, this is Bitcoin charted with global liquidity, and you can see whenever Bitcoin kind of peaks, that's when global liquidity actually rises as well. And you can see this happened in 2018, right? We had this Bitcoin top, and then we also had a global liquidity top. Same thing in 2021, we had a Bitcoin top as well as a global liquidity top. And right now in 2024, what we are seeing is we are seeing still a very low overall global liquidity. Of course, Bitcoin has already crossed all-time highs, but it still has not hit that 100K mark, which I definitely believe will happen in the bull run. So you can see global liquidity right now is low, and Bitcoin price right now is still relatively low to where it will eventually be. And based on this chart, it seems like global liquidity will kind of top off around early 2025. So that's kind of going to be where that peak of Bitcoin potentially will land us. And we also need to look at interest rates as well. Whenever the Fed cuts interest rates, crypto goes up, stocks go up. And because the Fed did not cut interest rates in May, we do believe that the Fed will cut interest rates in the end of 2024, around maybe October, November, or December. And that actually lines up directly with the 2024 election, which historically has actually increased the price of stocks during that time period. So all of this lines up very, very well. The Bitcoin dominance lines up, the global liquidity lines up, and also interest rate and elections line up. So with all of this lining up, I definitely think October to December, anywhere from that area, we'll likely see a Bitcoin all-time high, as well as the beginnings of an alt season. Keep an eye out for these dates, because I do believe all of these macroeconomic factors that I discussed in today's video will be catalysts for a Bitcoin all-time high and an alt season during these dates. And of course, whenever altcoin season begins, all of your altcoins are going to absolutely rip. They're going to do probably more gains than you even expect. And something like Aerodrome, right, one of the top dexes on one of the top chains in Base, is going to do extremely well as well. In the next couple of months, of course, we could see a lot of volatility for something like Aerodrome, right? We could see it oscillating in this channel, basically between these two previous support areas, right? I can definitely see that happening. But once altcoin season eventually hits, I do believe that for a lot of these altcoins, you're going to see massive, massive rips to the upside. I think Aerodrome, from today's price of about $1, I think it can easily 10x from today's price, right? It was already at $2.50, and since then it's dropped 50 to 60%. So right now, I believe, especially if it hits back into this previous 80-cent support zone, I think that would be an amazing time to pick up more Aerodrome, or pick up Aerodrome for the first time if you haven't already. These are amazing opportunities. Whenever you see red in the market, whenever you see all of your altcoins down massively in the midst of a bull run, those are opportunities to get cheap prices. Those are opportunities to have generational wealth. Not a lot of YouTubers actually cover the macroeconomic reasons behind crypto pumping or dumping, right? And I think understanding that is extremely important concept, and I want to be one of the channels that actually covers that. So please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. The last couple of days I've been pretty busy, so I haven't been putting out much content, and throughout the month of May I will be pretty busy as well, but I want to keep making videos for you guys, keep making informational content, right? I think I thrive best when I cover technical analysis as well as macroeconomic concepts. So those are going to be the concepts that I stick with. I'll also be covering different coins as well, right? Different coins, not only in DeFi, but also in AI, in DePIN, right? In layer ones. Any videos you want to see, please leave in the comments below. I'll try to respond to some comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.